Hey guys, Michelle here. I wanted to stop by and say hello. This will probably be a relatively quick video, but I wanted to make sure that I followed up the hospital video from this week with another video to let you guys know that I am okay. I am home. If you missed that video, I unfortunately had a pulmonary embolism. We don't know when it happened. I covered this a little bit in my last video, but I was sick in my last several videos on and off for about 6 weeks. But I did start feeling really bad toward that last week, and Sunday I was admitted to the hospital, had a pulmonary embolism. If for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it is a blood clot that throws from somewhere else in your body into your lung, and it is extremely dangerous. It has a very high mortality rate, so I very well could have been killed. This is the third one that I have had since 2017. I've been tested for various clotting disorders and things like that back in 2017 and didn't have any. We don't know if because I had been so sick and was coughing so violently that there possibly was a blood clot that formed in my esophagus that through. We have no idea what the answer is to this. What I do know is that I'm going to be on blood thinners now for the rest of my life, which makes me sad because I was on Coumadin for about a year and a half. The pulmonary embolisms in 2017 were far worse than this. I'm very lucky to be alive after that experience. I was out of commission for more than a year recovering from that and was on blood thinners for about a year and a half. This one was much more mild, but still incredibly painful. For anybody that wants to know what the symptoms are of a pulmonary embolism, these are common post-surgery in people sometimes. Please don't get scared. As a reminder, you guys, I am an RN, BSN RN, and I don't want to scare you, but I do want you to be aware of the symptoms because I did develop a very large blood clot in my arm a couple of days after surgery. You can go back and you can watch that video. That blood clot had nothing to do with this one. I was put on Eliquis at that time to break up the blood clot, and blood thinners are what actually gets rid of the blood clots that happen. Mine happened after an infiltration in my IV, and it was a pretty good sized blood clot. What through to my lungs normally happens with what's called a DVT or deep vein thrombosis. That's when you get a blood clot in your deep veins in your leg, and symptoms for that. And I did not have that. I had an ultrasound and they were able to rule out any sort of DVT. But what happens post-surgery is if you travel or you fly, or if you fly all the time, or you are very sedentary, you can develop deep vein thrombosis or blood clots in your legs. Those break loose, they throw to your lungs, and it can kill you. Very high mortality rate. 75% of people with pulmonary embolisms die before they ever even get to an emergency room because it goes untreated. My symptoms presented very differently this time than they did in 2017. In 2017, I did not have the cough that normally goes along with pulmonary embolisms. I had severe pain between my shoulder blades, and that was really all that I had. And my breathing became so labored in the middle of the night that my ex-fiance had to take me to the emergency room. And when I got there, I had thrown a mild clot like I did this time. What happened though is they discharged me too soon, and I was put on a blood thinner that doesn't work as well, and I threw a massive saddle pulmonary embolism the following day, and that's what kept me in the hospital for longer than a week. That's what caused permanent damage to my lung. On the right hand side, I have a lobe of my lung that is damaged for the rest of my life. This happened to throw on the same side, so I don't even want to know what my lung looks like now. But if you have a severe cough which was one of my symptoms because it's flu season and cold season, and I had been sick and I'd had a head cold. I didn't think anything of the cough, but it was going on for weeks. It went on for 2 or 3 weeks, and I didn't even think of associating that with a pulmonary embolism. I also had pain between my shoulder blades again, and I was just feeling so ill that I had my daughter drive me to the emergency room Sunday and was just expecting to be told that I had pneumonia, which some of the symptoms of a pulmonary embolism are similar to pneumonia, that hacking cough and wheezing and not being able to breathe, not being able to catch your breath. And it was a pulmonary embolism. So very dangerous. Please, after you watch this video, please Google the signs of pulmonary embolism. We are all having surgeries. It is very common to develop blood clots after surgery. And I want you guys to know the symptoms, not to scare you, but to educate you, to make sure that you understand what to look for. If you develop a cough like what I had, you guys can see I sound so much better than I did when I was in the hospital because my SATs, or my O2, my oxygen levels were so low. They dropped down in the 92 range, and then 94, and then finally got up to about 97 when I left the hospital. You want your O2 SATs when they put that little thing on the end of your finger when you go to the doctor. That's what they're testing for. They're testing for your oxygen level. You really don't want to ever be below about a 97. If you're sick, it can run a little bit lower than that, but it's pretty easy to tell with pneumonia and pulmonary embolism with your O2 SATs being low, your oxygen level being low, that the lungs aren't getting the oxygen that they need. So that's one of the reasons why they use that little thingy on the end of your, I think it's an oximeter is what it's called, thingy. That's a really good medical term for me to use, but wanted you guys to know. Please keep an eye on your health after this surgery. Please keep an eye on your health. I'm 4 months post-surgery, and this just happened out of the blue, but I can tell you, because I've had pulmonary embolisms before, that I am much more susceptible to them after already having one. So I don't want to scare you. I just want you to educate yourself. If you feel any kind of heat and sore spot in your legs or in your arms, they're more likely to be in your legs, but my blood clot post-surgery was in my arm, where my IV infiltrated. It's very painful. It gets very warm or hot to the touch. If you're having any spots like that turn kind of a pinkish red in your legs, you're feeling heat, or you're not going to necessarily feel a blood clot, but those symptoms you need to be very aware of because it can be extremely dangerous. So just educate yourself on pulmonary embolisms. If you're in this season and you have that cough that's going on forever, and you're feeling like you can't catch your breath or you can't breathe, please go to the doctor. Go to urgent care. Most urgent cares can at least do a chest x-ray and look and see if you've got pneumonia or something going on. They cannot see a pulmonary embolism on the x-ray. But if you have pneumonia and you're feeling really bad and you're coughing, it's always a good idea to go to the emergency room and get checked out. Always wear a mask in the emergency room. Something that you will see that I did was every doctor's visit, every urgent care visit, and even at the ER, I wore the mask because, one, I didn't have the flu as far as I understand. They thought that I might have and got past it. We don't know. We don't know what caused all this, but I wear a mask because I don't want to pick up the flu, because people in hospitals and in urgent cares and in doctor's offices are going to be carrying every bug underneath the sun. They're not going to be wearing masks. The people that you see wearing masks are usually medical professionals, and we know to wear those and to put those on our face. One, to keep whatever we have, if we don't know what we have, from spreading, and two, to keep from picking anything else up that other people are carrying in the urgent care or in the doctor's office. So use those masks. They're always available to you, and it just keeps you from getting sick and keeps you especially from spreading anything else that you might have to other people. In my case, I think this was a head cold that developed, and then it got worse down into a chest cold that then instead also was pneumonia, and then ended up being a pulmonary embolism. I mean, it was the worst case scenario. I wasn't really comfortable that they sent me home just a few days after this happened, but they did send me home on hardcore blood thinners. I have an appointment next week with my old oncologist slash hematologist, and he is wonderful. He was by far one of the best doctors that I've ever had. And I want to find out what can be done to do some more testing and to find out why this keeps happening to me, because I need to get to the bottom of it. If I can't, I just have to accept that I can't. Sometimes you just don't know. But for my peace of mind and for the peace of mind of my kids, I need to know if I'm carrying something gene-wise that is causing this to happen, or if I'm just incredibly freaking unlucky. Either way, I wanted you guys to know that I'm okay. I'm doing fine. I'm home. I'm not going back to work until Tuesday, so I took over a week off to recover. I've got my appointment with my hematologist next week, and I'll get some more answers as to what, blood thinners they're going to end up keeping me on for the rest of my life. There are filters that can be put into people's lungs to keep them from getting pulmonary embolisms. I might have to explore something like that surgically. I don't know until I see the doctor next week. But I wanted you guys to know you've all been so kind. Your comments on Instagram and your comments on here on YouTube meant so much to me. And I just wanted you guys to see I'm okay. I've survived. I don't ever want to have to go through this again. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure that I stay healthy. So please, please, I've told you before, please get your flu shot. Didn't work out so well this season. There's a lot of flu type A going around, which is what they think that I had. And vaccines don't cover everything, but please, if you've got something available to you that will keep you from getting the flu, please get your flu shot. Please make sure you take care of your health, and please go to the doctor if you don't feel right, especially if you have the symptoms of a pulmonary embolism with chest pain, that cough, you can't catch your breath. Mine presents between my shoulder blades. Presents means it shows up between my shoulder blades, but any chest pain is cause for concern, and you should go not to urgent care, but go to the emergency room if you're experiencing any sort of chest pain. Really important. So I just wanted to, like I said, tell you guys I'm doing okay. I have lost 5 pounds. I better have after this experience, but I did weigh myself and I was down another 5 pounds after a very long stall. So that was kind of really good news. So please subscribe below, turn your notifications on if you want to follow along on my journey. You can find me on Instagram under Gastric Sleeve Superwoman, and it's gastric _sleeved _superwoman. I'll link those down below. But just wanted to do a follow-up video, tell you guys thanks for caring about me and my health, and I'm doing much better, and hopefully I'll have a new video for you soon when I'm perfect and back to normal. So thanks for following, you guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, turn your notifications on. I hope you have a great weekend.